Hi, Mount Prospect Park District, and welcome to Studio Saturdays with Miss Lisa. Today we're going to do a mixed media project, and the focus will be dandelions, and hopefully I've chosen items that you already have in your home to use for the project. Come join me. Supplies for our project today. We will need a piece of foil or a paper plate to use as a paint palette. We'll need a background color and 2 color greens, one for stem, one for grass. Our focus today is going to be a dandelion, so the paint we'll need is yellow and white. We will need a couple of paint brushes. We will need a fork. We will need a toilet paper tube, a pair of scissors, tacky glue, a glue stick, school glue would work as well in replacement of tacky glue, and some Q-tips, and finally we will need a marker. Green, blue, black, all of them would work. All right, let's get started. Okay, I have my background, and then to get started, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna trim a few stems off of my green paper. And my plan is that I think I can put 5 flowers on here. So I'm going to take my glue stick and I'm going to glue each of those stems down. And I want to make sure that I know where my stems end up. I'm okay with the excess going off the bottom of the paper. Next, I want to take my toilet paper tube and I want to cut maybe about an inch and a half up, and I want to continue this all the way around the entire tube. Okay, once I've cut all the way through, I want to take and I want to bend those down. And the reason that I wanted to make sure that they stayed the same length is because this is going to be how we make our printing impression. So I'm going to take my palette for paint. I'm gonna put a little paint down. The reason I had 2 size brushes, one a little slightly larger, was so that I could smooth it and spread that paint. I don't want it to be a giant blob. When I pick up the paint, I want it to just grab a little bit on there. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to dip the toilet paper tube burst into the paint. And what I want it to look like is that it's getting on the edges. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just going to press and turn until I get it where I like it. Dandelions, I feel, when they're white, are kind of airy and almost see-through. With the paint, I want it to still stay the same. All right, I'm liking how that looks. I'm actually going to take the top of my paint, the cap, and I'm gonna dip it in the paint, and I'm going to put a slight little circle in there. I want to fill in that center a little bit, and with my small paintbrush I'm going to just add a few little lines. It's going to help fill in the center. And then those Q-tips that I had off to the side, I want to go ahead and just dab around. Again, I'm just trying to fill it in so that it doesn't look like there's too much opening or that I missed a spot. And then I'm also going to take and put a few just around the outside edge. Okay. Then I am going to go ahead and switch to my fork and my yellow paint. I'm gonna dab the fork in the paint. I don't want it dripping off of my paint, off of my fork, but I want enough on there that it's going to transfer to the paper. And I'm just gonna move it in all different directions. And then to finish, I want it to have a little bit of texture. So I'm gonna use the ends of the fork to add a few lines in there. We're creating our dandelions backwards. Normally you see the yellow flower first and then you get the white puffy. Okay, so we're basically done with paint. What I want to do next is I want to make the leaves for my stems. I'm just going to slide that up for a moment. I'm going to cut a strip that's maybe about 2 inches, 1.5 inches would work. I want to take that strip and fold it in half, and then I'm going to cut the shape of my leaf. So I'm going to come in and down, and then I'm going to come out, and it's almost like a little bit of a Christmas tree shape, except that all of your ends are the same. And when I open it up, I will have a shape that looks similar to the leaf of a dandelion. So I'll do that one more time for you. I'm gonna come down, and then I'm just going to turn my scissors back up and put a little hook in there. And then when I get to the end, I'm cutting straight across the bottom. I did ahead of time. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add some texture to those leaves. I'm gonna take my marker and I'm gonna draw some little veins on. I'm gonna take school glue or tacky glue. School glue would work fine. I want to kind of bend my leaf so that there's a little bit where I can add the glue, and I want them kind of sticking up. I'm looking to add dimension to my picture. So I'm not gonna put glue on the whole thing. I want it to appear like it's alive and growing. All right, and then last, I want another strip of a different color green to make our grass. And I am literally just going to cut little triangles out. And there is nothing precise about this. I worked kind of quickly and I was really careful. After you're done with your painting, you may want the paint to dry before you add your stems and your grass. If you're not patient, but you want to avoid having your paint get smeared, you may want to just quickly grab a blow dryer and blow dry. I'm feeling like my grass is kind of sticking up a little bit too high. So I think what I'll do is I will just bring it down a little bit more. And then I'm gonna trim off the excess here. Don't need those stems on the bottom. All right, and there you have it. We have our dandelions all finished. Thank you for joining me. I'd love to see your project once it's finished. If you want, go ahead and share it with me at #MPPD Studio Saturdays.